watching us from. Thank you very much for joining us once again on Straight Talk, a program that comes your way every week to educate you, to entertain you, and to share with you a lot of things that are happening in your life as a young Christian. And today we have a ladies episode. We are going to talk about the issues that we go through as young women. We are going to learn a lot as to how we are supposed to handle ourselves, especially in this walk of faith. We are going to address some of the issues that are affecting us, and I'm very privileged to be joined in studio by a very interesting guest. She's looking lovely over here. She's Pastor Mary Bahati from Spiritual Life Center. I'll give her a chance to say a bit about herself and to greet you so that you can hear her lovely voice. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hey viewers, wherever you're watching us from, my name is Pastor Mary Bahati from Eldoret Spiritual Life Center. I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a director of a president of a ministry called Cherished Woman International, and many other things that I do.
Yeah, she's talked about Cherished Woman International. As we know that we are cherished, we are very privileged in the eyes of God. We are queens and princesses in the eyes of God. That's why I chose her for this specific topic, to talk to us about how to uplift ourselves as young ladies, to come out of that cocoon, that life of thinking that you cannot make it. She's going to share a lot with us. I hope you're going to be with us up to the end. The show is going to be lovely. It's going to be very entertaining. And just to start us off, Pastor Mary,
Yes.
tell us a bit about your life when you were young. You look very young. You're even confusing me. I don't know whether to ask you when you were young or now. But just share with us a bit about how it was back in those days when you were a lady. How was your life like?
Well, I had a very difficult childhood. And by the way, thank you so much for saying that I'm young. Oh my gosh. I have 3 children. You know, one is in campus right now, the other one is doing Form 4, and the baby is 9 years.
It's really hard to
So, it is so good to be told that you're young when you know you're really not. But I grew up in the slums of Mathare. And it was very difficult as a young girl growing up without the things that young girls need in life. You know, simple things like sanitary towels and you know, you want to go to salon sometimes and you don't have money even to buy water, you know, and leave alone food. And so it was a very difficult time, you know, growing there. I saw many girls dying, you know, those days, especially of HIV and AIDS and drunkenness and, you know, other sicknesses, very weird sicknesses.
Was that your life then? You know, somebody looking at you right now finds it difficult to believe that you lived such kind of a life back then.
Oh my gosh. No, really, I was surrounded by that life. And I think sometimes God works in ways that we cannot understand. Because as much as I was in there, right in that place, I hated that life with all of my heart. And many times I could look up and say, God, if you're there, if truly there is a God, this is not the kind of life I want.
Very interesting, very interesting. A young lady in that kind of life, God always has to be your best friend.
Exactly.
So what you're trying to say is that God is the one who removed you from that moment.
Yes.
Let's talk a bit about the challenges. If you apply what was happening back then to this modern society, what do you think are the challenges that the young women are facing in our modern age?
Well, that is a very good question. And like I told you, growing up, you know, like I used to hate myself so much. I didn't have confidence. I didn't know who I was. And I actually thought that nothing good can come out of me. And that is what is happening to so many young ladies today. Like most of them believe that nothing good can come out of them, especially because of maybe what they may be going through, the challenges that they face in life. You know, and sometimes they feel that nobody likes them or loves them, nobody understands them. And that can make, you know, a young lady or a young person, just do other things and sometimes even go into drugs, because they are looking for comfort out there.
True.
Yeah, and so confidence and just knowing who you are, I believe that matters a lot.
Okay, okay. You're doing this program called Cherished Woman International, going around to encourage women and helping them come out of their hard situations. Tell us a bit about some of the things. What is your advice to somebody, perhaps, who is going through such a tough life? Because not all of them can get an access to you directly. Let us use this as a platform. What is your advice to somebody who is going through such a tough life? She's a young lady, probably she does not have a job, probably she's not even having confidence in herself and experiencing the basic necessities of life. What do you think they can do to come out of that, to come out of that situation?
If you're there and you're watching this program, I want you to know that life is a journey and we grow every day. And in a journey, there's so many potholes and speed bumps and all those things. But the beginning of real life is to actually know and have a relationship with God. That is the beginning of a miracle right there. If you know God and have a relationship with Him, then He will direct your steps, because the Bible says that the steps of a righteous man are ordered of the Lord. So if you're disconnected from Him, obviously there is no way He'll be able to direct you. And that is the beginning of a miracle.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Pastor Mary, today's episode was about empowering the young lady, making her have all those qualities, all those admirable qualities. A good example is you, perhaps. People are looking at you and you're a role model to many. You're touching people's lives. Tell us a bit about the qualities of a young lady. How should we be? How should we, what should we impart in ourselves to come out clear, to come out like people should be emulated in the society, like you, for example?
Thank you so much. There are things that I have learned, like I said, life is a journey. And the one thing that I've learned is something called courage. And, in courage, there are 7 letters. And I call them the 7 pillars of courage. And those 7 pillars, will help you out there, because personally, they have really helped me so very much. And I just want to talk a little bit about the 7 pillars of courage, because I know that you're there and you're watching this program today. And this program, maybe you've been watching it and it has been a blessing. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And I want you to know that these 7 pillars of courage, the first thing that I want you to know about the 7 pillars of courage is called confidence. And confidence is very simple. It just means trusting in yourself and having faith in yourself. We all grow, every day. And that means that it doesn't matter how you are. It doesn't matter what you have or what you don't have. It doesn't matter. Like when I was growing up, I hated myself because I thought I was too short.
You never thought you would be well.
I know. Like I didn't like anything about myself. So that means I didn't have confidence in who I was. I didn't trust myself. I didn't have faith in myself. And so the first letter of courage is called confidence. And then the second letter, which is letter O, I call it organized. Just being orderly.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning and you have to order your life, and this is what I'm gonna do. You just don't live anyhow. You go anywhere just because everybody's going. You have your own goals, you set your own plan, you write them down. Have a plan. No matter how young you may be, you may even be in school. You may even be out there looking for a job. It doesn't matter. Just try to be organized just a little bit. I believe you can do that. And then the third letter, the letter U, I call it understanding, is to just be aware or to be cautious. Very simple. Many of us fail today because we don't know how to follow rules and regulations. And sometimes we become a little bit too ignorant, and when we are told what to do, we are like, no, you know, she's too old to tell us what to do.
But and that is why a lot of young ladies fail in their lives.
Exactly.
Because you fail to listen to people.
Exactly.
You fail to understand at the point where you are in life. So what you're saying is we ought to understand ourselves and understand that this is what we need. This is for our own good.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And you know what? Many times, even in our church, I tell young people that when you ask God for a miracle, He will give you an instruction. You know, and when you follow that instruction, it may even come from your pastor, from your parent, from somebody that is elder than you. And when you follow that instruction, doors start opening just like that. Because every door of opportunity is linked to an instruction out there. So as a young person, it is very important, you know, for you to learn how to follow instructions. Sometimes it may not be easy, but it is all worth it. Believe you me, it is all worth it.
Understanding yourself.
Understanding, yes. And the fourth letter is called, I call it reason. Reason basically is the basis or motive for an action. Why do you do what you do? You know, and it is very important. You know, why are you going where you're going? You know, why are you linking up with your friends? You know, I mean, what is the reason or why do you do the things that you do?
You have to have that personal drive.
Exactly.
That thing that moves you to do something. A goal.
Why are you here? What are you living for? What is the reason for?
Why are you a woman in the first place?
Why are you a woman? and by the way, I have seen that, you know, sometimes when I'm traveling all over the world, I have seen some women out there that hate being women. And sometimes they go and they try to change. It is a blessing being a woman. Seriously.
True.
So, and God created you for a reason. You know, and when God created a woman, you know, I mean, He looked and said, it is good. You know, it is beautiful.
There's this servant of God that once said that when a woman was created, it was just a man, but a wow man. So it was, that's where that name woman was coined from. If you're just wow, you're lovely. And our role as women perhaps is to make things more spicy, to make life interesting, to stand in the gap for the men, for example. And most women don't know that.
They don't know. And Safi, let me tell you, can you imagine if this world did not have a woman? I mean, women, it would be a terrible world.
It will not be a world even. And families without a mother.
Exactly.
Just get that picture, a family without a mother.
Exactly.
How is the life of the children? How is the life of the husband?
Exactly.
So sometimes it is important for us to appreciate the fact that we are women.
Exactly.
And we are addressing this younger generation, Pastor Mary. You know, there are people that are still, they're in between girls and ladies. They're in between, they are still confused. They don't know what to do with themselves. They've not discovered that unique character that they have. They're still there in that box. I don't know what you can say concerning that particular person that has not identified herself, has not known who she is. What you say on that?
Yeah, like I said, you know, just getting connected to God is the beginning of every other miracle you will ever need. So, and even as a young lady, you know, growing up, you know, like they don't know where they are, they don't know where they want to be, they're just in between somewhere. I believe that if you get connected to God and if you ask Him into your heart, He will come in and He will direct you. He will connect you with the right people. He will, you know, bring alongside you a person that will be able to nurture you and to help you and to make you grow. A person that will be a confidant to you, somebody that you can run to with your issues and they can pray with you. You can have a shoulder. You know, I believe they are out there somewhere.
So if you don't know your character, you just attach yourself to God and He will take you there.
Exactly.
Okay, the reason why we were talking about this is because you find a situation where women, a lot of women, believe in hiding themselves under the umbrella of men. Somebody just stays there and then a man comes along and then their life now is channeled in the direction of this man. What this man says is what she will do. The faith of this man is her faith. I don't know, is it supposed to be that way? Are we supposed to forget our personality and attach ourselves to somebody else.
You know what, Safi? When we get before God, that is when He comes back for us. He will come back for us. You know, for each person, we will stand before God as an individual. I am married to Bishop Ben Bahati today, but when I stand before God, I don't stand as Bishop Bahati's wife. I stand as Mary Wairimu, as, you know, just me.
I like the way you left that word, that name Bahati.
Yes,
when you stand before God, it's now Wairimu.
It is now Mary Wairimu. You know, and when we get before God, you know, like when we stand before God and when He says, welcome home, good and faithful servant. You know, that means it is me as a person. And it is wrong when we forget about ourselves and when we get married. You know, like I believe that, you know, every woman wants to get married. You know, like they desire to get married someday. But it is wrong. Very wrong.
So you still have
when
to
you forget.
You still have to maintain your own self.
Yeah, and you know, before you get married, you need to actually be fulfilled in yourself first.
Yeah.
Who you are. Love yourself for who you are. So that even when that man comes, he will find a fulfilled woman.
A full
person. A full person.
They say that my better half. I mean, you half and then you need that other half so that you can be complete.
No, you have to be complete before he comes. I am telling you, listen, there's so many marriages out there that are breaking because if I come to you and I am half, I will expect you to complete me. You know, you have your own issues, you have your own weaknesses, faults and failures. You know, that means you're not coming to complete me. I need to be complete in myself so that when I bring my 100, you bring your 100. And this thing works. I'm telling you.
Yeah, in fact, the Bible says you're supposed to be a helper.
Exactly.
Not a liability, somebody that comes to be helped. You're supposed to come and help. That's why you need to be a complete person and the other person has to be a complete person.
Exactly.
At this moment, let's talk a bit about what we are supposed to do as young women that are yet to get into marriage. What is the preparation like? What in our own individual level, living out other people, in my own individual level, what am I supposed to do to make sure that I am ready, I am okay, I am complete, like you say, I am very complete. What am I supposed to do?
Well, you know what? I still go back to that place where I said, you get connected to God first. You make sure that you're attached to a local church. So that from there, okay, now you want to get married, you want to prepare to get into this institution that is for life. That means you won't jump in and then jump out like, you know, like you're trying. You know, if it doesn't work out, you know, I just jump out. You know, that is not how it works. You know, you have to actually make sure that you're psychological fit, you're spiritually fit, and you're physically fit. Because sometimes when we are so messed up, you know, like emotionally, you get in and then you're like, this man, maybe he will not hurt me like the other one did. But you haven't really healed from your
heart,
from your past relationships. And then this man comes in and then something somewhere happens. You know, because you know error is to human. You know, we from time to time we all mess up, even when we don't want to. When that happens and you have not healed from your past relationships, it breaks you down.
So you will carry the baggage from your past relationship to this new one.
Exactly. Yes, it will head nowhere, and then it will hurt you. You know, like when you expect them to be this very perfect person, and yet they are not. You know, so but when you heal from your past, it becomes very easy for you. Even when somebody does something wrong to you, you will be able to forgive easily.
Just before you get married, some people look at marriage as a solution to their problems. Their financial issues. Somebody sees herself, she's just there, and then she's thinking that if I get married to somebody who has, then my problems will be sorted. In preparation for marriage, how should I be in terms of finances, in terms of career? How ready should I be so that as I walk into that marriage, I walk into it for the right reasons?
That's a very good question, and it is affecting so many people out there. But I believe that even if I come into this marriage and I have my certificates, I have my money, I have, submission, the Bible says, like, we have to submit. I have met it is quite unfortunate, but I have met so many very educated, well-to-do ladies and all that. And most of them, it is quite sad, but they are not able to submit under authority of a man because they think
they have it all.
Yes, they have it all. But for this thing to work, especially if you want to get married, and you get married with all your certificates and with all your things and all that, when you come back home, at the end of the day, you have to be a wife and you have to be a mother. That means you have to forget about your money and about your certificates and your papers. Yes, and all that. And you remove that shoe and you enter into this other shoe of a wife and a mother. That way it will work. Because that man, no matter how he is, he's still the head of the family. He's still the priest of that family. So that means he needs to be given his honor. And when he doesn't get that, there's friction.
Allow me to interrupt you, Pastor Mary. We'll be talking a bit about how now the marriage should work and how the independence comes into marriage. But for now, can a woman submit to somebody who is under her in terms of career, in terms of finances, just before marriage? When you're looking for the best marriage partner, should you look for somebody who is above you or below you, or what are we supposed to look for?
You know what? Life is all about decisions and choices that we make. So when for example, if I have my career and I have my money and I have my papers and I fall in love with this man and I decide to get married to this man, before I married him, I knew that he didn't have as much money as I have. I knew that he didn't have like the papers that I have. So that means I made a choice. And choices, no chance, they make our destiny. And so that means either way, the Bible commands me to submit. So it is a choice I have to make. I have to submit under this man that I call my husband.
Okay. And in making that choice, do we have this part of us, this carnal part of us as human beings? Do we have a choice? Or should we base our choice on what the Bible says, what our spiritual life is directing us? Do we have a choice, like in terms of physical appearance? Can I make a choice as me in terms of what I want, in terms of physical appearance, in terms of stability? Can I make my own personal choice as a human being?
Yes, you sure can. But when you're in this institution called marriage, especially marriage, because now this is what we are talking about, you have to talk about it with your husband. You don't just go out there and say, hey, I'm gonna show him I am all that, and what can he do to me, so when you talk, communicate. That's where communication is very, very important. Very, very important, because you have to sit down. And of course, you have your own goals, and you have your own desires, you have your own vision, and that is very true. And you have to follow those desires. And I believe that if you're a man in your right mind, surely, if your wife wants to pursue something and it is for the betterment of her future and her family, surely, if you're there and you're a good man, allow her to pursue it.
Okay.
Because you will also benefit from that. But many men, they get so insecure.
True.
Yes.
Pastor Mary, we are having a very interesting discussion right here, and we will be getting to that point where you'll tell us more about the marriage. How is it on the other side of the bridge? But for now, tell us a bit about you, how you met with Pastor Ben. What did you like in him?
I didn't know you were coming to that.
You have to share with us a bit about. You said something about making choices, making decisions. As Mary, what made you decide that yes, I'm gonna marry this man?
You know, I grew up in a home. My dad was very abusive. He was an alcoholic, and I don't know where he used to get the money, but my dad used to drink so much. So I sat one day and I said, I will never get married. Like, I didn't want to go through what my mother went through and what I went through.
Yeah.
You know, 11 of us, one father, one mother, staying in the slums, no food, no money, nothing. And here's our father that was, you know, like drinking so much and coming back and beating us up. And, you know, like we didn't grow up with any kind of love. And so I opted, I am going to be a Catholic nun. This thing called marriage, never in life, it will never happen to me. And so one day, you know this God, hey, this God is just amazing, my friends. So one day, you know, I'm just walking around, you know, the slums, not expecting anything. And so I go to this meeting. It was somewhere in Huruma. You know, there was a big crusade. And there was a woman there preaching. So I was so captivated. And I was like, wow, woman preaching? How on earth? So I stood there. At the end of the meeting, I was crying and giving my life to Jesus. And that was a turnaround to my life. And so I joined this church in Madare. And then, you know, I joined and I was, you know, I joined the choir. And there was this young man that used to come. And he was playing the guitar. And of course, again, he wasn't of my tribe. You know, I was of the X tribe and he was from the Y tribe. And the X tribe doesn't get married to the Y tribe. But one thing led to another. And we started, you know, so like feeling each other.
Is this young man the one you're thinking?
Yes. Yes.
So that is just how it happened.
That's how it happened.
And you made your decision.
And I made my decision.
And that is how God works. You may think as a young lady that I'm never going to meet somebody who is perfect. I'll never fall in love. But God has a plan.
Exactly.
The show has been lovely. Thank you very much for being with us up to the end. We will be continuing with this topic where we are going to talk a bit about how marriage should work, how we should live as young ladies in our marriages and still submit to the men. Be with us, same time, same place on Straight Talk. Pastor Mary will be our guest again next week. I am Safina Shane. Bye-bye for now.